guys, it's Matt from Rancliffe Media here. I'm a photographer and filmmaker, and I'm here today to talk to you about the most essential equipment that you need to film a wedding. So I've been filming weddings about 5 or 6 years now, and when I first started, I would have loved to have had someone to tell me exactly what I needed. And it was really difficult at the time because I kind of bought equipment as I went along, and I didn't really know exactly what I needed. And it would have just been really helpful for someone to tell me just the most basic stuff that I needed to get started. So we have a whole range of different equipment here. We have camera, lenses, audio equipment, monopod, mini tripod, LED light, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to start by talking about the camera. So you may already have a camera, or you may be looking at buying a camera. And I remember when I first started filming weddings, I think it was a Nikkor D5100. And that was the camera I could afford at the time, and it was a digital SLR, and I think I did about 3 or 4 weddings with that camera, and it got me by. And then when I eventually saved up enough money, I went and bought this Sony A7S. And the reason why I upgraded to a full frame camera is because when you're filming weddings, a lot of the time you're filming in low light situations. You may be in a really dark church or a reception hall, and because of that, you really need a camera that's good in low light. And a full frame camera like the Sony A7S is excellent in low light, and it has really good dynamic range. And it's just been a really awesome camera for weddings. I've never had a problem with this camera. It's never let me down, and I've done so many weddings with this. So that's the camera I'd recommend, but whatever you have, obviously you can get by with. Next, I'm going to talk about lenses. So this is the very first lens that I started with. So when I had my Nikkor D5100, I think I bought this lens off my friend for about 50 bucks. So this is the Nikkor 50mm f1.8. And this is a very, very affordable lens. I think you can get these on eBay for like 50 bucks, maybe a bit more. So this has a manual aperture, and it's a fast lens. It goes to f1.8. It also has a manual focus ring. So that's very handy, the manual aperture, when you're filming weddings, so you can change aperture very quickly. If you're going from a bright lighting situation to a dark one, you can just change the aperture very fast, and that's very handy. Also with weddings, when you're doing video, you're often focusing manually, so that's a very good affordable lens. And you can also get this adapter, so it allows you to use this on Sony cameras as well, and other cameras with other mirrorless cameras. So that's just one really affordable option. Next we have a Sigma 60mm f2.8. So this is another it's quite a cheap lens, about 200 bucks. And I use this on my Sony mirrorless camera. So my other camera that I have as a backup for weddings, my A6000, I use this lens, and it's excellent for getting those portrait shots. So it's got quite a big zoom on it, and you know, it's just a very, very good lens, good quality. So sorry. So this is the Samyang 14mm. This is another really good lens, and this is a much wider lens. And when you're doing weddings, it's important to have a prime lens with more of a zoom and a wide lens. So this is a manual lens as well. And it has a manual focus ring, which is very smooth, and also it has a declicked aperture. So that's again very smooth, and because it's declicked, you don't get those clicking noises when you're changing aperture on the fly and when you're recording. So that's very nice for getting those really nice wide shots. You can get, you know, some different angles, creative angles, get low to the ground. If you ever get a slider or a glide cam, you can use this wide lens to get those really cinematic, creative gliding shots and sliding shots, and so that's just a really good affordable lens. So next I'm going to talk about the variable ND filter. So this is something that I use for every wedding that I shoot, and this just allows you, obviously there's mounts on the end of your lens. You screw it on, and depending on what size lens you have, that'll determine what size filter you buy, obviously. And by turning this, you're able to reduce the amount of light coming into your lens, and that allows you to shoot on like f1.8 or f2.8. So you can still get that really nice cinematic look and that shallow depth of field. And you're able to do that in bright lighting situations, for example, outdoors in the middle of the day. And this is just very handy. You're able to change the amount of light coming in very smoothly by turning that. And that's absolutely essential if you want to get that really nice cinematic look. So next I'm going to talk about the Monopod. So this is pretty much the only piece of stabilizing equipment that you'll need to film an entire wedding. So the Monopod, it's different to a tripod in the sense that it allows you to get into those really tight corners, those tight situations. For example, when you're in a small room and you're doing the bride and groom prep and you don't have room for a big tripod, which takes up a lot of space, and the small feet allow you to get into the corner of a room and also get very close to get those really nice close shots and the detailed shots as well. So you can do a lot of creative stuff with the Monopod. You can extend it out, and you can do some nice crane lifting shots like that, some really smooth shots. You can also do some, pushes and pulls towards the camera and, rack focus at the same time. So that's just, Monopod's absolutely essential, and also you can get quite creative with it. So that's a fairly cheap one. That's the Benro Monopod, and that's about $100 without the fluid head. And if you get it with the fluid head, it's about $200. And I'll put the pricing to all these items in the description below. So if you don't get it with the fluid head, or if you decide to go with a different one, you may want to get like a cheaper fluid head like this one. This is the Velbon one, and this is about $30 or $40, and that'll get you by. It's still very good. It's not quite as smooth as the more expensive Benro one, but that'll do the job. Next we have like a very small tripod. This is a tabletop tripod, and this just allows you to mount your camera and very close to the subject, so you can get the ring shots or those very detailed shots, and allows you to just get very close and to put it on things like a table, coffee table. So that's just another really handy thing to have in your bag. Next we're going to talk about audio recording equipment. So we have the Rode video mic, and this just mounts on top of your camera. So it just mounts in the hot shoe like that, and then you plug this into your microphone jack. This one runs on a 9-volt battery, and you have to always remember to turn it on to record. Okay, so that's one option. Take that out. Next option is a smaller microphone. This is a Rode Video Micro, and I've actually started using this for weddings because it's so much more compact and it has very good quality sound. It comes with this dead cat, which is good for reducing noise if it's a windy day and you're outside. And it's very compact. It mounts on top of your hot shoe like that, and exactly the same plugs into your microphone jack like that. This microphone picks up a bit wider range of audio, and I kind of like that because you get a bit more of atmosphere, and it's a lot cheaper. It's about $70. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the cables that you need when you're filming weddings. So you need these cables when you want to plug your audio recorder. I'm using the DRO5, Tascam DRO5. You can also use the Zoom H1. Other people will use that. This is the one I personally prefer. And you need these cables to plug into a sound desk. So I carry the most essential cables. So this is the 1/4 to 1/8 stereo. And then you've got also RCA and a bunch of different connectors. And I'll put the links and the details in the description below the video. So I won't go into too much detail about that. Next we have batteries. You need a whole bunch of batteries when you're filming weddings. Weddings can go for like an entire day, so 8 hours or more. And especially with the Sony cameras, you probably already know this, but they don't last very long sometimes, and you need at least 5 batteries just to get you by. So I'd recommend a minimum. I can actually carry more than that, but minimum 5 batteries. Again, I want to talk a bit about audio. I should have mentioned this before, but you can also use a phone with the Rode Smartlav, which I'm using right now, and you can put that in the groom's pocket, and that's another audio backup. So you can record into a phone using an app. There's a few different apps out there. And I'm also using this TRRS to TRRS adapter with the Rode Smartlav, which allows me to plug it into this Tascam DR05. So that adapter with the Smartlav, that's a really good option, and it's quite affordable. Next we have the LED light. So that's another essential piece of equipment. You can use this in low light situations, for example, reception. You can shine on the ceiling, you know, light up the room if you're struggling to find enough light. It has a dimmable switch on the back, which is very handy, and it runs on these lithium-ion NP FM50 batteries. So these batteries are quite cheap, and I carry 2 of those. And that's about it, I think. I think I've covered everything. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below if you really enjoyed this. And hit the like button as well. I mean, I really appreciate that, guys. And I hope this really helped you out. And, you know, get out there and start filming. Start filming weddings, follow your dreams, and do what you love. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.